everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've decided to change the location today. I'm doing it in the kitchen. I'm filming this in the kitchen instead. This is just an experiment, just to, I don't know, just try out different locations, different lightings and stuff. I don't know how this is going to work, so just bear with me, this is just experimental. If I look at it later and I think, oh no, this doesn't really work, check the time, sorry, then I'll go back to where I was before. Someone suggested that I talk a little bit about my routine. I have done a previous video on this topic, on the subject of routine, but I can always go back and do it again, and happy to do that. I do keep a tab on my day-to-day existence in one of these diaries. I've got tons and tons of these diaries. I've got piles of them, which I'm trying to, my support worker's helping me organise them. It's a long-term project. I did give up writing in my I did give up writing in my diaries for some time. I think I just got out of a habit, but I've recently started up again, so I'm quite pleased. I got back into the habit, back on track, and I'm writing a daily entry. So I suppose in terms of my routine, what I could do, just it'll be easier than me just trying to rely on my memory, is I could just read what I did yesterday. Now, because my day-to-day routine is very samey, it doesn't often change. So, although obviously there are differences day to day, slight differences, you know, what I might have been reading, what I might have been eating, that sort of thing, it is generally speaking very much the same. So this will give you a flavour of my kind of usual kind of existence, if you like. So, Tuesday the 2nd of January 2018. I had spoon muesli for breakfast. Spoon muesli, by the way, if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It's very, very nice. It took a little while for it to grow on me. It's quite expensive, but it is worth it. It's a really nice cereal. It's quite alternative. It's very, very cinnamony. Doesn't have any added sugar in it. It's mainly just like malted flakes, quinoa, oats, yeah, basically nuts. I think it's got almonds and cashew nuts in it, although I add extra nuts. Like today I've added walnuts, but I've also added pecans and things to it, and I also like adding dates to it. And I add a banana with milk. It's very, very nice. Breakfast, I always love breakfast, you know, food is my major interest. Breakfast is the best meal of the day, because it's like you're hungry and you want to eat, you know, and I always look forward to breakfast. Yeah, I like cereals, so. And I always have some coffee. I love coffee. I used not to like coffee so much. I went off it for a while, but I've got back into it and I now really, really like it. So then I started reading the first chapter of Walden, entitled Economy. I don't know if any of you have read Walden. It's by a philosopher called Henry Thoreau. It was written in the mid-19th century. Philosophy is one of my major interests, and I'm interested in reading, you know, about alternative ideas, social criticism, anything that kind of challenges the dominant perceptions in society, I guess, because I feel I'm a bit of an outsider anyway, and I'm quite a deep thinker, and I do tend to question in my mind a lot, you know, conventions, why people do the things they do, you know, is there an alternative way of doing things? Just because someone says it's right doesn't mean it's right, you know, or constantly like challenging things in my head, basically, because I'm a bit of an outsider. And I think that's what drew me to reading Walden, because I know a little bit about Thoreau, the author. I don't think he was autistic. He could have been, you never know. But I don't know. He might have been, he might not. But he certainly he valued solitude and you know, his own company. And I can relate to a lot of that. So Walden is an account of this experiment in living in the woods away from society. It was over 2 years. It actually inspired a countercultural movement in America. American Civil Rights Movement. It actually inspired Gandhi. I think that was more his later work, was it? Civil Disobedience. I haven't read that one, but I know that it inspired Gandhi and other social critics. It is heavy going. If any of you are interested in reading Walden, it is heavy going, and I've not got into the book yet, but I will persist, as I hate giving up on things. This is very much a part of me. I will persist, even if the going is tough. I cannot give up. So yes, Walden is not an easy book to get into. The language is very, very quaint. It's quite Shakespearean in parts. Bearing in mind this was written in the mid-19th century, you do have to, you know, just plough on really, and I am a bit of a perfectionist, so it does kind of like annoy me when I don't understand like every little sentence, but I'm trying to, you know, just carry on reading regardless, because otherwise you could just spend like ages kind of like getting caught up in what does he mean by this, what does he mean by that, and it's not really that important, so I'm trying to, you know, to carry on, to plough on, as they say. The first chapter is very, very long, which is annoying, as I do prefer shorter chapters because they provide a clear sense of progress and completion. I can't read economy in one sitting, so I stopped at the end of the paragraph, having read for almost 2 hours in the morning. That's my usual routine, okay? I usually read for 2 hours in the morning. Reading is very, very important for me. It's stressful, yes, because I find it very hard to concentrate. Concentration does not come naturally to me. I think that's why when I was a kid I didn't really do much with academics, because I just couldn't concentrate, I couldn't focus. It's very hard. But as I've got older, I've become more academically minded, and I do try, and it is really difficult, but I do try. And yeah, I'm pleased when I've managed 2 hours, that's really good. I can only read when it's quiet, so I have to wear headphones because I get very, very easily distracted. I then read a bit of background about transcendentalism, which is the philosophy that inspired Thoreau, Walden's author. The idea is that truth is subjective, and that the I, or perceiving subject, is the sole guide to reality. So I'm just checking time as well, just so the video doesn't run out. Yeah, that to me, I think is very important. This really does resonate with me, because I do think that the self, I do think it's really, I find it really difficult to enter another person's reality, and I do think, yeah, so I do kind of like go along with that, that kind of individualism. Thoreau was a supreme individualist, and Walden was his attempt at delineating an alternative way of living away from the crowd. I love that. You know, it's quite kind of Nietzschean in some respects. I don't know if Nietzsche read Walden, but yeah, there come some kind of like elements there. He sought to become self-sufficient for 2 years, living simply off his own labour. I couldn't do that myself, I have to admit, but I do admire what he did. Thoreau said that the only things you need in life are food, shelter, clothing and fuel. I agree with that. There aren't many things you need in life to be happy. Interestingly, he didn't mention people, which is quite interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting. He didn't mention people. So for Thoreau, maybe you don't need people, yeah. These necessities having been provided for, a person can seek the infinite by establishing close ties with nature and the cosmos, unfettered by social obligation, tradition, or material desire. So I decided to read Walden because I'm interested in the 1960s counterculture, which Walden influenced, as well as in ideas that question society and convention. I feel an outsider myself, and I think this is why I'm interested in unconventional philosophy and social criticism. After my reading, I had lunch. I had Parmentier sardines with olives on 2 slices of Dutchy Original seeded Waitrose toast with a little ketchup. I also had Darjeeling tea and a shortbread square. I cannot resist the shortbread. At this time of year, I need something nice to help me get through the bleakness. Shortbread is one of my favourite biscuits. Its creamy, buttery, melting-in-mouth deliciousness transports me to a higher plane. It has to be dunked in tea or coffee for maximum pleasure. I only crave shortbread in the winter, as it matches winter's heaviness and depth. I then went out and walked to Waitrose with my shopping trolley to buy some food. Waitrose is the shop I usually go to. It's just the shop I was brought up going to. You know, I'm a creature of routine, creature of habit, and I don't drive, and it's easy for me to get to. So that's why I go there. Waitrose was busier than I expected. I can only surmise that it being the 2nd January, everyone is doing shopping they couldn't do on New Year's Day. I only bought a few items and followed my list so I could get out quickly. After putting the shopping away, I went out again and did my regular walk around Quarry Park at Bishop Hallett's Gardens. I finished off at my dad's, where I read about Thoreau and transcendentalism on the internet. I also came across an interesting subject called cabin porn, and I spent time reading about this. It seems to be a modern-day Walden impulse, a desire to up sticks and live in the wilderness in a log cabin. I wish. Some people, though, just like to look at pictures of cabins as they provide them with a visually stimulating fantasy of an alternative lifestyle. I have to admit, I wish I had my own cabin in the woods. I would want to live within walking distance of a shop, such as Waitrose, where I could buy my supplies. The cabin would be on the fringes of suburbia, but set back, so it would be completely quiet other than birdsong and the wind. Back at my flat, I prepared and ate my dinner. I followed a recipe in my little book of pasta from the BBC Good Food Guide. Here it is, great little book. Where is it? Yeah, for the BBC Good Food Guide for veggie bolognese. The recipe stipulated carrot, but I used 2 baby parsnips instead, as they were what I had in the fridge and needed using up. Normally, I don't like changing recipes, but I told myself this was only a minor alteration. The dish also contained red lentils, tinned tomato, shallot, oregano, stock, red bell pepper and cinnamon. I do most of my food from scratch. I don't like relying on ready meals because they contain a lot of junk. Sometimes I do buy ready meals, I have to admit, but they're very expensive, and I do like to make food from scratch. I like cooking. Wholesome, good food, can't beat that. I had it with spaghetti and parmesan. It was really very, very nice. It was delicious, in fact. I'll certainly make this recipe again. Parmesan is also one of my favourite cheeses. For dessert, I had stewed apple and yoghurt, followed by chamomile and lavender tea, and 2 seedless clementines. I then had a bath before walking back to my dad's at around just after 8 p.m. So that was my entry for yesterday, and as I say, today has followed very much the same kind of routine so far. I've almost finished the end of the economy chapter in Walden. Yeah, so that's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis. Hope you enjoyed watching.